Let's bring in Lauren Fix. She's the car coach. Lauren, always a pleasure to have you on the program. I mean, how much will scaling back production actually affect the bottom line for Ford and GM after we've already seen Ford's sales down for August?
Oh, you're going to see a huge impact to the auto industry. I ran into an executive of Toyota the other day, and I was speaking to them about their situation, and they're doing the best of all of the brands, and even they're saying, we're getting about 1 million cars a month. That means you're talking about 12 to 13 million in sales. To give you an idea, last year was 17.1 million. Then we had a huge demand after COVID. Production started ramping back up, and they were calling for demand as high as 18 million light trucks and cars. That's huge. That's the biggest we've had in decades. But the problem with this is if there's no chips, there's no cars being produced. And this is exactly where we are now. So the impact is huge. It's going to affect jobs. It's going to affect the economy and all the sub-suppliers that make components. For example, tire companies, electronics companies, safety equipment companies, because if they're not producing, even if they can produce, there's one of those companies that can't. And so that affects the total sales of automobiles.
Now, we know that this shortage isn't anything new. I mean, it feels like we have been talking about this supply chain disruption for quite a while now. So is there any end in sight for the auto industry specifically?
Well, that's the hard part. If you and I together decided we're going to start a chip company, where the three of us are going to get together, we're going to create a chip company. From this moment of deciding to do it to actually producing chips that we could use for production of anything, we're looking at a 3-year window. The problem with that is it's too long, and at that point there's other people in the marketplace. So we know it won't be that long. For companies that used to produce chips to get ramped back up, it's about a 9-month window. So we're probably looking into 2022 now, and they keep pushing it forward. The problem is the ceramics that come on the boards. If you've ever taken apart a computer or seen inside of a television, you see those green boards? That's all ceramics. That comes out of the Netherlands. That's not the problem. The metals come out of China. That's where the problem is. And there are companies that are hoarding these chips, and they're increasing the prices, and they're restricting them intentionally in order to increase the prices. And this is putting a real squeeze on the whole world and all of global sales.
And you just mentioned a point that I wanted to bring up next, because earlier in August, China's antitrust regulators launched an investigation into car chip distributors who allegedly are hoarding the much-needed semiconductors. So what exactly is going on there, and is this actually exacerbating the problem?
It is actually exacerbating the problem. So if you have, it's a supply and demand. The demand is high. Cars want to be produced with whatever component, because you may think, oh, it's just the screens, but it could be a safety system like anti-lock brakes. It could be the chip that's used in a key fob. So you've got companies like Honda shipping their vehicles out with one key fob, saying we'll ship you the other one when we can. Or General Motors saying, you know, we're going to take out that start-stop technology and no wireless charging. Or you're seeing a lot of the higher luxury brands no longer putting in those big screens because they use so many chips. You're talking about thousands of them per car. So, I mean, with that type of situation, what's the holdup? Everyone's saying, what's the holdup? If China will release the metals and we have the ceramics, why are we not producing these? It's because those that are producing and those that are middlemen are the ones that are making the money by reducing the supply to increase the price.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, thank you for breaking it all down for us. All right. Now, I also want to bring up used cars here, because last month, some analysts believed used car prices would start to fall after being up due to a lack of supply. Do these continuing chip issues point to prices continuing to stay high as well?
Prices are out of this world. If you've got a secondary car that you're not using, or a third car, and you think, you know, I was thinking about getting rid of it, now's the time to sell. It is not the time to buy. To give you an idea, average sales are up between 34 and 45%. Corvettes and sports cars are literally, you can't even touch them. If you're looking at a Porsche and you decide you want to go buy a 911, you'll be paying $30,000 to $40,000 over a sticker right now because you can't get them. And those that are coming in, again, supply and demand, this is all economics 101. So sports cars are high, luxury cars are high, but even daily drivers, a minivan or a little sedan where you think, oh, the sales aren't that big on sedans, can't get them. So the supply is high. So used car market is on fire.
It's absolutely crazy, the parts of the economy post-pandemic, or if you want to consider what we are post-pandemic, that are still going crazy. Lauren Fix, the car coach, thank you so much for breaking all this down for us today.